Hey there, my name is Kira, and I haven't left my house in months. When I do feel like putting on makeup though, this has been my go-to look, so I figured I would share it with you. Let's get into it. So as you can see, I usually look like a naked mole rat. My roots here are really long and really greasy. I'm so sorry about that, but I bleach it and dye it the day after filming this. Anyway, no one cares about my hair. Onto the makeup. I'm starting off with my Too Faced Primed and Peachy Primer. As is typical for me, I like to apply primer directly onto my face, and then using my hands, I spread it out. Make sure that if you choose to use your hands, they are clean and don't have anything that's, weird on them. It should be common practice by now, I think, because of COVID, but, wash your hands. I'm then moving on to my Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation. I almost always pair the primer and foundation set together just because I bought them at the same time and I found no real need to experiment with other combinations. Just like with the primer, I apply it directly to my face, but this time I use a dampened beauty blender to smooth it into the skin. I've tried multiple different techniques with this foundation and I find that the sponge works best for me. If I'm being completely honest though, I usually go for a foundation that's a lot more full coverage and more matte because I have really greasy skin. But I still really like this foundation just because I find that it gives me this really beautiful natural finish. To cover up any of my problem areas, and I'm gonna be honest, I have a decent amount of problem areas, especially around that time of the month, I use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Honestly, this is everyone's favorite, and so I think it's kind of redundant for me to talk about it at this point. I just put it over any acne spots that I have, as well as under my eyes, and I usually work in small sections. As I mentioned before, I have really oily skin, and so loose powder is my savior. I apply powder all over my face multiple times throughout my makeup routine. This one's by Milk, and I'm not going to show me applying it to every square inch of my face, but believe me, that's what I do. My NYX palette is so beat up, oh my god. I've been using it for years. It's been very well loved and it's honestly time for me to get a new one. But for now, I contour using a mix of multiple different shades depending on what I need. As a pale girl, the cool tones work better for me, but I also try to balance it out so I don't look too washed out. It's a fine art, but if you practice, you'll get the hang of it. I contour my cheekbones, jawline, and forehead, and then I go in with a smaller brush to contour my nose. And then of course, I have to go in with even more powder to really sharpen the edges of my contour and then make sure that I am super matte for the entire day. On to the eyebrows. I shave most of my eyebrows off, but what little hair I do have, I make sure to brush up, and then I go in with a pomade. Here I'm using Anastasia in Ash Brown. I'm not going to show me drawing on my eyebrows too much because I'm mostly off frame doing this, and it's a long process. But once I'm done drawing the basic shape, I go in with an eyeshadow powder and then I fill it in to deepen the shade. Right now my roots are super dark brown, and so I go in with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette in this dark brown shade to really deepen that color. But whenever I have colored hair, I usually match my eyebrows to my hair, and in that case I'll just choose whatever eyeshadow will match well. After this, I always make sure to clean up my brow with whatever concealer or foundation I have on hand. Okay, we're finally on to the fun part. So I'm taking the shade Scallop from my Lime Crime Venus XL palette. This is a really light pink shade that I'm applying all over the lid, mostly concentrating on the outer corner as well as the crease. I'm using a fluffy brush to do this because this is our base shadow, and so it doesn't have to look perfect, but you want to make sure that it's really nicely blended. Once you're satisfied with the shape and the overall blend of that color, you're going to want to go in with a deeper pink. I'm using Tokyo from Sugarpill. This is hands down my favorite pink color. With this pink, you want to apply it to those same areas, but you want to make sure that you concentrate it more towards the lid rather than blow it out towards the eyebrow. Don't be afraid to go in with that original pink color or with a clean fluffy brush to blend the two together. To deepen the shadow even more, I'm going in with the purple. This one is Poison Plum by Sugarpill, which I just realized is discontinued, but you can use any purple that you have on hand. We're going to be using this very modestly just to deepen the outer corner of our lid. and we're going to be blending it into that pink. So it's not like we're adding purple, it's more like we're just darkening the pink shade, if that makes sense. To carve out the crease, I'm going back in with my Tarte concealer. I apply the product on the inner portion of my lid using a flat synthetic brush, and then as you can see, I blink and look up to be able to disperse that product on the area just above my natural crease. This is a technique that won't work for everyone, but for my specific eye shape, it works really wonderfully. While the concealer is still tacky, I'm taking Special Delivery from ColourPop and I'm applying it directly onto that area that we've just defined. While any shimmery shadow would look really beautiful against the pink, I really like the green to provide some contrast. To tie in the colors more seamlessly, I'm going back in with Tokyo and I'm applying it over that green shimmer shade just to blend everything together a little bit more. Following this, I'm taking a black pencil liner and running it over my waterline, and then taking a black liquid liner and creating a cat eye. You don't have to create a cat eye if you don't want to cover up the shadow that you've just applied, but I like to do it for added drama. At this point, add whatever mascara and lashes you so choose, and finish up the rest of your face using blush and highlighter. I personally like a pretty heavy blush, and so I'm going in with Tokyo from Sugarpill and just applying it to my cheeks, chin, and nose. I also like to be pretty heavy-handed when it comes to my highlighter, and so here I'm using a mix of Marshmallow and Butterscotch from the Anastasia Sugar Glow Kit. I use Marshmallow because it has a hint of a green tint to it, but Butterscotch is this beautiful gold and it kind of tones that color down. I apply highlighter to the inner corners of my eyes, as well as my brow bone, temples, nose, cheekbones, and chin. To finish off this look, I used Lime Crime Wet Cherry Gloss in Black Cherry. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me as I do my makeup, and I don't know, try and have fun in quarantine. Things kind of suck right now, but we can still look pretty damn cute.